Have you been lying in bed with just random thoughts racing through your mind, feeling anxious and stressed, and wondered, is it even possible for sleep to happen in circumstances like these? If you recognize this, then this episode is going to be perfect for you. It is mining the comments, and we're going to look at a comment from M who describes exactly this question. And we're going to see that the short answer is yes. It is possible, but it can be tricky if you don't know what we're going to talk about in this episode. So with this said, again, welcome, and I think something really, really helpful in this and practical in this episode of Mind in the Comments. But before we jump into it, if you haven't heard me say this, the free mini course I talked about last week, Ready to Sleep in 5 Days, is available now for free at thesleepcoachschool.com. So definitely, if you think this is something for you, head over there and check it out. Now, with that said, let us go to the comments. And this is a comment from the kind of special holiday episode from last week. And I don't know the full name of the person who wrote this. So I'm just going to say M because that's the first letter. So M 2 days ago wrote the following: "Thanks so much for all you do. You are so very welcome. Thanks for the support. Quick question. When I wake up and try to go back to sleep, my brain races. Is it even possible for someone to fall asleep if their head is racing and their brain is being overactive? I get discouraged, thinking the only way to sleep is if my brain quiets down. They aren't always even negative thoughts. Sometimes it's literally thinking about what I'm going to eat for breakfast the next day. It's just continuously talking. So, do you know if there's any chance someone could fall asleep even when their mind is super hyper active?" So yeah, M, thanks so much for sharing this question or these questions. And I want to say, again, reiterate that the short answer to me is yes, it is possible. And I say this because I hear this all the time, and I've experienced it, personally as well. I hear all the time from people who say like, "Hey, Daniel, like it's the weirdest thing happened. Like yesterday, I was like super anxious. My mind was just racing, and the next thing I know, it's morning. I fell asleep, and it's happened to me too. I wake up like very, very alert, and I'm like, okay, I just know I'm not going to sleep. There's no way I'm going to sleep. I'm just going to lay and rest. And then, suddenly I fell asleep. So yeah, this is very, very, the short answer, yes, it is possible, and I say, very often I say this, like peaceful sleep has no requirements, and often happens when we least expect it, I believe this is very, very true. But there's a but here. And here's the thing. When we think, quote unquote, that there's a chance, we will often keep trying. So when you hear this, M, or anybody else who's had the same question, it can lead to a tricky spot, and it can lead to like, oh, Daniel said, even if my mind is like hyperactive and I'm having all these racing thoughts, there is still a chance that I may sleep. So I might as well just continue laying here and trying. Let me trying. And Em actually said, like, when I wake up and I try to go back to sleep, and the tricky thing here is that when we try to sleep, that can keep us awake. So if we hear that, oh yeah, I can sleep even if my mind is like really racing, so then I should just keep trying. That is going to keep us awake. Because if there's one thing that keeps us awake, it is trying to sleep. On the other hand, I wrote here, on the other hand, looking at a line from M, we can learn a lot from. It is this one. I get discouraged thinking that the only way to sleep is if my brain quiets down. Now, here's something I think is really, really helpful. And it's the following: that when we see that, yes, of course, like insomnia is, a way we experience anxiety, right? To me, like insomnia happens when we have become scared of not sleeping, and that fear keeps us awake. Yes. And as part of anxiety, we often experience like racing thoughts and, jerks and, things of that nature. And that can lead us to think that, okay, the only way I can sleep is if I get my mind to quiet down. And this is tricky because it leads us to what I call mind control. It leads us to a place where we try to like create the ideal inner circumstances, and we call this actually an intangible sleep effort. A tangible sleep effort is when we take like a pill or install blackout curtains. That's very tangible. Intangible is, again, this kind of mind control. We're attempting to create the perfect inner conditions for sleep. And as we already talked about, that whatever we do to try to achieve sleep, that is what makes it tricky for us to sleep. That keeps us awake. So I think this was spot on. Like, if we think, like Em said, that the only way to sleep is if my brain quiets down, that is tricky because it leads us to try to make our mind calm down. On the other hand, when we see sleep can happen, even when we have racing thoughts and we feel anxious, and we no longer try to achieve any ideal conditions, then we do find more of that peaceful sleep and peace of mind that we all like. So yeah, Em, hope this provided a helpful and meaningful answer to you and anyone else with a similar question. Hope this was really, really enlightening to you. If not, let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already heard me say so, which you probably have, the free mini course is now available. I'm really excited about it. Ready to sleep in 5 days. Just head over to our website, thesleepcapsule.com, and check it out. That was it for today. Hope you have a really wonderful, restful, peaceful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.